Hey, what's going on? I'm Mike, and this video goes out to anyone who has an idea that's trapped inside of their minds right now, an idea to create something or to do something, and it's something that nags at you constantly, but you have no clue how to bring it to life. So I want to share a method that I use pretty often whenever I have an idea for a new project. I use this method to get all of the ideas surrounding that project out of my mind and organized into a blueprint or a map that I can then use to help me to bring that project to life. So what I do is I use post-it notes. And so I normally begin by just taking a single deck of post-it notes and I'll write down every single thought, every idea related to that project. I'll write it onto an individual post-it note and I'll put it up onto my wall. So I'll go through this process for as long as I have to. Sometimes I'll time myself, maybe say 20, 25 minutes. Other times I'll just write out my ideas until I feel like I have a clear head and every single thought, idea surrounding that project in my mind is on paper in front of me and up on my wall. So after I do that, I move on to my second step and I just try to organize rather all those thoughts that I've generated. I try to organize them. So I'll go to the wall where I've attached those post-it notes, and I'll just look for themes and patterns, amongst the thoughts that I've written down, and I'll rearrange those thoughts or those stickies that have those thoughts. I'll rearrange them into common groups. So I'll give you an example. So let's say that I'm thinking about let's say a podcast. Let's say that's the idea that's in my head. And so I would just start writing down everything about that podcast on the sticky notes, have put the thoughts on a wall. And then I'm gonna look for those common themes and patterns. So if I see some thoughts are mostly about content, the things I want to talk about in that podcast, the people I want to interview, I'm gonna move those into a common group. And I'll do that for everything else. The goal for this step 2 is to organize every thought into some type of common group. So if there are things that jump out about marketing, whatever, and I'm just using this as my example because this example that I'm using as a podcast. So if I have the content stuff, I'm going to group that together. The stuff on marketing, I'm going to group that together, so on and so forth. After that initial round of organization is done, and one thing I forgot about, when I create the groups, I'll grab a second deck of post-it notes, a different color from the thoughts. I'll grab a second deck of post-it notes and I'll just create headings for each of those groups that I've created. So once that initial round of organization is done, there are a couple benefits. Number one, by having everything arranged into groups, I'm able to see gaps in my thinking. And so what I mean by that is, a lot of times we'll have an idea in mind, something that we're really thinking about, but it's not until we actually see it in front of us, at least for me, when I see it in front of me, I'm able to see, okay, where I've really been concentrating most of my thinking at in the areas that I've been neglecting. So again, back to this podcast example, I can see maybe I have the content, a lot of thoughts I've given, the content, a lot of ideas I have about content, a lot of ideas I have about marketing and how I'm going to get that information out there. But I realize I have not thought at all about how I'm going to produce or create that podcast. So number one, I'm able to see gaps like that in my thinking and go back and to fill it in. And number two, arranging these ideas, your ideas into groups like this helps to really put some rails on your brainstorming. And in my case, this helps me just to get really defined, really focused, and to help me just brainstorm really precisely. So that's the second benefit. So I'm able to just hone in on those exact categories that I've generated, say content, marketing, and really just to say, okay, I'm going to put a laser focus on that. I want to brainstorm more in content, more in marketing. So that's the other benefit. One other thing to keep in mind is that this is, this is an iterative process. So it's something that I leave these notes up for the duration of whatever project that I'm working on. And you may see me looking off the camera because I'm looking at some notes, some post-it notes that I have on the wall that's related to this Smart Simple Digital project. And these have been up here for almost a year. And it's everything from content to different features that I'm planning just for every aspect of this project. So that's the first thing. This is an iterative process. It's something that it's a living map. Another reason, I guess, one of the other main benefits why I go through this process is number two. Again, having it up just holds me accountable. Something I see constantly. It's something that I know, hey, this is what I have a commitment to. I have to keep at this. The second benefit, it helps me to generate more ideas related to the project. So again, for this Smart Simple Digital Map, I have a group that's just about content. All about content, all the types of things that I want to discuss in videos and blog posts. It's there. So anytime an idea for content comes to mind, I post it. Anytime that I get ready to do a video or write something, I look there and I'll pull one of those ideas off and I'll start to flesh it out into a video like this. In fact, if you look behind me, I think you can see this. There are some post-it notes here that I created for a previous video. So this started on the main map. It started out on the main map as just a content idea. I think this one was about Snapchat. I did this a couple episodes ago. You can check this out. But I pulled that sticky off of the main Smart Simple Digital Map and I started to flesh it out into a little mini map to help me to do that video. Just to get all the ideas and details about that video. So that's just a real world example. One of the other benefits of this process, why I like to do it, is that it allows me to break things out into actionable tasks. So, I'm able to again, all those groups those thoughts that I've arranged, I'm able to then go out and pull some of them out and arrange them or to work on them to actually make them actionable, to put some work behind them. Maybe I'll add dates on when I want to have them accomplished and, other notes on how I can get them accomplished. So that's the other main benefit to doing this process as well. Now, I should say an alternative, sometimes if I'm outside of my normal workspace, away from home, and I get an idea for a project, I want to do it. If I don't have any post-it notes available or just don't have this workspace available, I will use an app. So one of the apps that I'll use is called Trello. And so it allows me to create virtual whiteboards or virtual idea boards, and then I can just put additional little cards, if you will, about ideas and tasks related to that bigger project, and I can move them around any way that I want to. I can add reminders to them. I can color code them. So that's an alternative that I use. It's not an advertisement for them, but that's definitely an alternative that I use sometimes when I don't have post-it notes available, or I just have an idea that comes up on the fly and I want to get it out. I'll use Trello. There is another app that I've heard of that you can do the same thing. I have not personally used it, but I've heard good things about it, and that's called Asana. And I'll make sure that I note both of those down in the description below. So if you want to check those out, you can. But that's it. That's the process that I use. This is my color-coded brainstorming process that I use anytime I have an idea that's in my mind and I just need to get it out. I need to get the ideas out, written down in front of me and organized so that I can see how I'm able to do this. So if you have any questions about this, any comments, leave them down below. And hope you like this. If you did, like it, share it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.